The South Dakota women kept right on rolling Saturday afternoon with a 77-44 win over Omaha here inside the Sanford Coyote Sports Center. Here to talk about that performance is Coyotes head coach Dawn Plitzuweit. And Dawn, you started this game a little bit slowly offensively, at least by your standards, and I think most of that was just the fact that some of the shots you normally make weren't falling. But as you consider that first 10 minutes, how much, if any of it, do you think had to do with just having 6 days off between games?
Well, interestingly enough, before the game, I talked to Brittany Lang, their head coach, and when you're the team that has 6 days to prep, you are concerned about, are you going to start quickly? When you're the team that is playing against a team that has 6 days to prep, you think they've changed everything during that time frame. So I don't know that it had much to do with it in all reality, because we played really hard and we hit shots during that time off. Going back and looking at it, you try to figure out, were we getting good shots? Were we not getting good shots? And when we look at it, we were getting really good shots. They just weren't falling for us. Good news was our defense was very, very solid at the beginning of the game. We weathered the storm of not hitting shots through the first half, scored 36 points, and then the second half really started to be more efficient offensively.
Yeah, that was the good news, and it didn't take long to work through that on the offensive end. You built the lead by 12 at the half, really broke it open there in that third quarter, and it was behind that suffocating defense that you mentioned. Omaha, 2 of 11 shooting in the third quarter. You forced 7 turnovers, led to 8 points on the other end of the floor. I mean, that really was your spark on Saturday, and that's not different than it normally is. That's the way you guys do things.
Well, it's something that we've been very focused on, is becoming a great defensive team. And so far in conference action, we've been fortunate enough to be able to be good on that end of the ball. That takes a lot of concentration, takes a great deal of effort, and finishing plays from our young ladies. They did that against Omaha. We were able to hold them down in scoring. Their field goal percentage was at 36%. We held them down, and I think they had to the free throw line 10 times at 5 offensive rebounds, and we were able to turn them over 21 times. When we're able to turn teams over, we were able to get out and score in transition. Then you're able to get shots closer to the basket more often than not, and that helped us with our efficiency.
From an individual standpoint, some rare air for Duffy, and that seems funny to say given all that she's accomplished throughout her career, but she had 10 assists in this game on Saturday, first since Nicole Seekamp to do that in a Coyote uniform. We've talked a lot about her ability to distribute the basketball, but just time and time again, she finds ways to impress you even in that regard.
I thought she played a great game. She played great defensively, and then got us out in a break situation quite a bit, and got a number of assists in transition to a multitude of different players who finished around the rim, because you have to finish in order to get the assist. And so I thought she played extremely well on both ends of the ball, and really did a great job of setting her teammates up to finish at the rim.
And meanwhile, Hannah Sherman finishes 1 rebound shy of a third double-double in conference play. She has really risen to the test so far in the league. And I mean, I guess that's something that we expected, but to see her be that consistent in both of those particular departments has been pretty impressive.
Well, not only has she been very good for us on the offensive end, but she's also been very good and very solid on the defensive end, and that's something that we're going to need to see continue. And I think something, and we look at it, and we even see her from the first and second game of the conference season getting better, developing, and that's something that's really important for our progress.
Meanwhile, the woman that she splits those minutes with in the post, Taylor Frederick, obviously Taylor switched roles. I mean, those two players completely switched roles, and that can be a tough thing to accept as a player, and Taylor has done that very well, and she's got to be in the conversation at least early for 6th Woman of the Year. So what does that say about her to be able to accept this new role and go forward and produce consistently the way that she has?
Well, Taylor has played so hard and so well all season long, and has given us an incredible boost off the bench on both ends of the court. She's done a great job for us defensively. She's a little bit different matchup than Team C with Hannah, and then she's also given us something very good on the offensive end, sometimes moving the ball and creating shots, and sometimes posting up and scoring, sometimes handling it in transition and setting up her teammates. So doing an awful lot. In the last game, we saw both of those young ladies, Taylor and Hannah, play together in several stretches, because matchups were good when we did that, and I thought they played together really solidly as well. So certainly I think she's given us something that is a team-first mentality, and has played extremely well doing that.
All right, as we look forward now, it is rivalry week. Can't even get through it. But this is always an exciting time of year, and you start the week off going up to Fargo on Thursday night to take on North Dakota State. This is a team that's got a different look. Jory Collins in his first year as the head man up there. How are they different under his leadership?
Well, I think they're playing incredibly hard. I think they are doing a lot of things very, very well. They're competing in all of their games. You know, they had a chance to beat Wisconsin. They ended up losing by 1. They had a chance in their first 3 conference games, played great at Denver, scored 82 points, came home and played Western Illinois and lost in double overtime, but played really, really well. Then they go on the road and they play at Oral Roberts, and it's a 1-2 possession game the entire game. So I think they're doing a great job of competing from beginning to end. They are doing a great job of executing on the offensive end. It's hard to figure out how exactly to guard them because every time you look at how to guard some of the ball screen action, they find ways to take advantage of it. So I think they're very disciplined in what they do, and they turn their opponents over. They're one of the best teams. They are the best team in our conference in turning their opponents over. So they're a tough matchup, and it's a tough place to play, and certainly an opportunity for us to look at how do we get better taking care of the basketball against that type of defense, and at the same time, how do we make sure that defensively we continue to be solid.
Speaking of tough matchups, got another one coming up Saturday, and that's the one a lot of people are already looking forward to in South Dakota State. These matchups throughout the regular season and the Summit League tournament have been so much fun over the last several years. But as you look at this year's Jacks, they're obviously different. No Macy Miller, no Madison Giebert, and they're pretty dinged up. They're playing without Maya Sellen. They've had a lot of injury issues going on, but they've figured out how to play pretty well with who they've got. So how do they concern you coming in on Saturday?
Well, they're doing 3 things probably extremely well. 2 of them on offense, and 1 if they're getting the ball inside and they're scoring it with their post kids at an over 60% clip. So they're very, very efficient when they get the ball inside. Then you try to limit those touches, and from the perimeter, they're shooting at a 35, 36% clip from the arc, and every kid that's on the perimeter can shoot it for them. So that becomes a challenge. And then the third thing they're doing really well is they are a lockdown defensive team. I think their opponents are scoring at a 33% clip from the floor, which is amazing. That's just an incredible defensive percentage. So they're playing really well on both ends right now.
All right, looking forward to what should be another fun week of Kiowa women's basketball. On the air Thursday in Fargo with Brian Shawn on the call, and then back here on Saturday afternoon with me and Kelly Stewart. So thanks for your time, Dawn. Good luck this week, and we'll catch up again next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jay.